Because the thing is that if INEC should not make this kind of arrangement like this, at the end of the day, there is the likelihood that the whole system or the accreditation and maybe the election will not start, because where beavers are not working, automatically there won't be election. And at the same time, you see, if you look at the issue of these network providers, sometimes we relied on network particularly to ensure that things are going very well, but to some extent, we realize that many places where the network, where there is network, it is highly challenging today. So you see, the issue of pushing blame to INEC or to even the network providers is not something new in Nigeria. But what is most important is that let the INEC prepare itself, and also the network providers prepare themselves before tomorrow's election, so that all the challenges we're able to face during the presidential election could be reduced, if not resolved. So I'm sure if this is done, election will definitely be much more, maybe 90% or to 99% perfect to the expectation of the Nigerians.
All right, Mr. Bello, we'll come back again at you. Just hold on there. Let's just ascertain if our second guest is right, connected. Mr. Okay. Kola, are you there now? Hello, Mr. Kola, are you there? Can you hear us? All right, okay. I think we still cannot establish network with him. Yeah. Now, you have a question for him.
Okay, yes, Mr. Ibrahim, you
Mr. Bello.
Mr. Bello, yes. Away from Inec'S readiness for the election that is taking place tomorrow, let's move to the safety of the citizens. We've read of clashes that supporters clashing with each other in Oyo and Lagos State and other states as well. So, what do you think the security agency are going to do tomorrow to, prevent the happening that took place during the presidential election from happening? Because we have read of, the different clashes, people being attacked. And we know INEC is prepared because they postponed the election in order to prepare themselves for the election that is happening tomorrow. So let's talk about the safety of the citizens. How well do you think the citizens are safe for tomorrow's election, that it's going to be free and fair and no one is going to get hurt?
I'm sure in KB we are safe and secure. By God's grace, it will hold very safely and securely. The issue of the security agencies, I think what I wanted to say here is that there is the need for the security agencies to ensure that they restrict movement. One of the things that will make election to be much more secure and safe is a restriction of movement. If there is even the ad hoc staff should be properly identified before they can move to their places of ad hoc work. And at the same time, those people that are moving from the cities to their villages should also be checked very well. Because most of the times, the use of those people that are causing disharmony and other things at the polling units and other places, or even attacking some of the other counterparts, I think they are mostly from the cities or from the from some places, not from within. So there is the need for the security agencies to ensure that people movements are thoroughly checked and also restricted very well, because this election of gubernatorial and other primaries, House of Representatives, State House of Representatives election, most at times are the elections that are much more critical than that of presidential and National Assembly. So you see, there is the need for security agencies at all levels, right from the rural areas up to the urban areas, to ensure that restriction there's much restriction of movement of people from one place to another, and even where the people need to move from one place to another, it should be checked very well and ensure that those people that are going somewhere or they are moving from cities to the villages are also being checked very well with whatever they carry and so on.
Let me.
All right, Mr. Bello, I want to take you back to the readiness of INEC. It's a concern for us right now because I understand you're not an INEC official, but then you're just giving us your own perspective, how you perceive their, readiness and preparedness towards the election. But let me shock you. I don't know if you're aware that the just concluded presidential election, during the period results were being collated, I can't really figure out now in one of those states, either Kebbi or Yola, one of those northern states. During that period, collation went into the night in some areas. And it was shocking that in some local government, one of those local government, to be very precise, never had electricity, power, to be able to aid them in collating results. And this result really went into the night to the point that a sister agency or a sister TV station sent their reporter there to gather, information as regards the elections and how results were collated. And to a very, shocking scene, he saw these officials collating results in the dark. There was no electricity, there was no form of light. They were actually using their torchlights to be able to do all of this. And how do you think, in this kind of situation, they will be able to do this and get something really, really credible enough, really, really authentic to be able to read out? Looking at the fact that the government has spent so much to be able to make this process and this activity of INEC really successful. And looking at that kind of scenario, don't you think INEC needs to really step up their game to be able to make sure that all of these things do not come up in tomorrow's election, and giving stress to these officials when it comes to our election tomorrow?
Yes, I'm sure those places where there is maybe there's no light, I can see some places where I visited and went for election monitoring. I can see INEC giving generator for the use of particularly for the collation and also the maybe charging of the beavers and whatever. So you see, where there is no light and INEC maybe refuse to give what I call it the generator, I'm sure, yes, there is. I think the blame should be put on that local area because INEC has made provisions of a generator set to every local government, to every polling unit, to every ward. What I don't know is that maybe at the polling unit, if INEC have made any provision to the polling unit, particularly those areas where elections do take longer time up to the middle of the night, maybe the challenge was definitely the ad hoc staff or the staff that are working there for them to be able to put the result in the shape and also bring it to the collation unit. But I'm sure at the collation unit, there are some places where I know in Kebbi State, there are provisions of a generator set, and people, the ad hoc staff have really tried themselves even in the night to collect the results and also ensure that the result is properly documented and take it to the local or the collation area in the local government. But the most...
Hello, Mr. Bello, can you hear us?
Okay, I think we lost him again, but I think he has done justice to that question. But I still need to know how his own area really looks like. If such challenge will be coming up. I'm talking about the challenge of not having electricity. What are the preparations INEC is doing? All right, I think we have him now.
Mr. Bello, you're back.
Yes.
Okay.
In Kebbi, we have about 21 local governments, and the prone areas of challenges was around Zulu and maybe those states that are bordering Sokoto, Katsina, and also Niger State. I'm sure, looking at the trend of things, even at the presidential election, there's no report where ad hoc staff now.
Okay, I think the network is still having a little issue. We'll come back to him. There's a question I want to ask him when we return. He said the best way to ensure the safety of the citizens is by restricting movement. which the IGP has made a statement concerning the restriction of movement tomorrow. Now, most of the Togri happens at the polling unit. So
I'm hearing you.
Okay, Mr. Bello, nice to have you back. I have a question for you. Still on the safety of the citizen, you made a statement that the only way to ensure safety and no one is hurt is by restriction of movement. And on that note, the IGP has made a statement this morning that there will be movement restriction tomorrow. But I want to ask you a question. Most of the Togri takes place at the polling unit. Don't you think the security agencies should deploy their team to the polling units to ensure that no one gets hurt as they're casting their vote and no one is victimized to vote for a particular political party? Hello, Mr. Bello.
His network is really bad, but then... Okay, are you
Mr.
there?
Bello, can you hear us?
Yes, I have even had your question. I want to answer it.
Okay, go ahead.
So what I'm saying is that, you know, those places where they are prone to challenges of banditry and whatever, you see the INEC itself, even the security agencies, they must have had and have an experience of where those things usually happen. So putting much more of security or even their staff or the security agencies to put their hands there, I think it's much more necessary. You know, in Kebbi State, those places where we have a lot of challenges are those places that are neighboring Katsina State, Sokoto State, and Niger State. So I think looking at the trend of things, the deployment of security agencies during the last election have really made serious meaning, because the places, those places elections definitely hold peacefully and fairly. So what I'm only advising is that the security agencies should also should also monitor very well and also be ready to assist those places that maybe they have an alert or even they were called to come and help. Because you can hardly pinpoint or even indicate those places where there's going to be a problem. The only thing you can do is for the police and the other agencies is that they should be on alert. In case they are called, they should immediately start going. They should not be complaining of fuel and whatever. So if they are called to come and rescue the situation or to assist in securing a particular polling unit or a place, they should be able to immediately go there and also arrest the culprits of any issue that they wanted to raise.
All right, so what's your response to the...
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear us?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
All right, now, so what's your response to the statement issued out by the Inspector General of Police concerning detaching all police officers attached to VIPs towards tomorrow's election so that they can allow these ones go out and cast their vote? What's your perspective about this directive given by the IGP?
The question is not clear. The network is having problem.
All right, let me repeat. I said the IGP, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you now.
All right, the IGP made a statement yesterday that all police officers should be detached from VIPs for tomorrow's election, meaning they will not go with these VIPs to the polling units, right? What's your perspective about that? That's my question.
So it's something very good and important, because looking at the need for the security and also looking at the challenges we have on ground, I think there is the need for that. But also I want to precaution this statement, because you know most of these people that were given the police as or the VIPs that were attached to the police are those people that have the potential of being attacked at the same time. I think there is the need for the maybe IGP into this statement and also ensure that those people that have the potential of being attacked are not only, they should not detach the police to them, but they should also make sure that adequate arrangement is being made to ensure that these people are secured, particularly those politicians that are potential of being attacked. So I think the detachment of these police officers with them is something that is good, but definitely we need to understand, we need to also know that the IGP need to know that there is the possibility of maybe causing much more havoc of detachment than maybe leaving the police with them.
All right, Mr. Bello. Just this last question before we round up the show. What do you think is that one thing that INEC has put in place to ensure that tomorrow's election is going to be free and fair?
Definitely, I'm sure they were able to enlighten people and also retrain and make a refresher training of the ad hoc staff, and also ensure that the sensitive materials go reach the what I call it, the places of the units at a time, within a very short period of time. And also, I can see the measures they have taken, particularly in the deployment of police as early as possible, is also very, very important to ensure that the sensitive materials reach the places or their destinations in the earliest time, and also they should be accompanied with the security agencies to ensure that everything that were given to the ad hoc staff or the INEC'S staff are taken to the various destinations securely and safely.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Bello, for sharing your thoughts on INEC'S readiness for tomorrow's election. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
All right, do have a good day.